Jesse, last year was a big year for Modern Family at the Emmys. You were nominated for the supporting actor category up against two of your other co-stars. Ed O'Neill was obviously in the mix. Does it get very competitive between you guys?
I think the answer people would hope to hear is that yes, we are very competitive and, fighting tooth and nail to get those nominations. But it's actually not the case at all. I actually received a really lovely email from Ed the other day. I'm here in London right now, so I wasn't privy to this because I don't check my email a lot, but apparently I was the one left off of some outer critics, or the critics nominations, the first annual critics nominations, and Ed sent me a really sweet email saying, I certainly know the feeling of what that feels like, and it was very sweet of him to even reach out, and we all get along so incredibly well, and Eric sort of said it best last year. A nomination and a win for any of us was really a win for the show. There was no way that it was going to be like a three-way tie last year. So we were just hoping one of our guys would take home the award, and hopefully maybe one of the girls. And they showed up miserably. They did not take home any awards. They basically handed it off to Jane Lynch, and we're very, very upset with Sophie and Julie. And they better come back ready to win this year.
Yeah, so the guys are on 1 and the girls are on 0 for Modern Family.
Yeah, and we do have a score sheet up at the craft service area.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, you seemed as happy as anybody last year when Eric won.
Oh, gosh, I know. I got ribbed for it, too. I was crying like a baby. Honestly, Eric was the first person I talked to when I found out I got a nomination, and I was so shocked last year to even have gotten a nomination at all, and he was just crying, and he was like, it's such validation for this couple and the character, and we did it together, and he always said that we created that dynamic together, and I guess that's true. Anytime you're playing half of a couple, you have to at some point acknowledge the fact that your better half on the show is somewhat responsible for the chemistry that you've created and the characterization you've created. But I think he portrayed that role brilliantly, and just seeing a dear friend of mine, which really he is, get up there and be so moved and so excited and so shocked, I couldn't help but cry. I was so happy for him.
And you and Eric do have a great relationship on screen. How do you view that relationship? As a comedy duo and as a partnership?
When you're, I don't want to say stuck with a scene partner, because I certainly don't feel stuck with any of my acting colleagues on the show. But we are expected to create a lot of comedy together, and he gives me a lot of space to do stuff I want to try, and vice versa. So I've certainly worked with actors who are not quite as giving or not quite as open to going there, and he's been a pleasure to work with, and I do feel like the chemistry that all of the couples on the show have created is purely a product of us really truly enjoying and respecting one another as actors before anything else.
Well, one of the things I like most about the way your writers put these episodes together is you do have probably most of your scenes with Eric over the course of a season, but they always have different combinations of you working. I really like that. Like, I guess the season finale, you were more with Julie than anybody else. Other episodes, you might be with Ed, or you might be with one of the kids, or whoever happens to be. Are you as surprised as anybody when you pick up a script for the next week's episode and you get to see who you're going to work with the most that week?
Yeah, I think everyone's favorite moments in the show are when we get to come together as a whole family, because that's just like cocktail hour on our set. They really have a hard time getting anyone to focus at that point, because we're just so excited to be working together. But I adore. Well, one of the reasons I was attracted to playing Mitchell, I originally, when I was auditioning for the pilot, I was asked to come in for Cam, and I was personally more drawn to Mitchell because I was very excited about playing not only the husband and the partner, but the brother and the son. I loved those relationships between Mitchell and Claire and Jay and Mitchell, and I thought they were really interesting. And now I sort of have this interesting relationship with Cam's mom that I also enjoy playing, and a very interesting relationship with my own mother, Dee Dee, played by Shelley Long. So anytime I open up the script and I get one of those great scenes with Julie or with Ed, it's certainly a treat to do. And I love working with Julie, and I just because she's so fun to be around as a real person. I mean, she's a lunatic in the best possible way. But I adore working with Rico Rodriguez, and I would love more scenes with Nolan Gould, who plays Luke, and Ariel Winter, and it's always a treat. It's like Christmas morning when you open up those scripts and you get to see like who the writers have paired you up with. And I'll admit, if it's just another episode with Cam and Lily, I'm a little bit like, get me out of the house.
Last year at the Emmys, it was a big year for Modern Family, not just for Eric, but for the series. You were the guys who were finally able to take out 30 Rock from continuing to win every year. What did it feel like to win Best Series last year, and sort of in your first year as well?
Well, I have to first say that, 30 Rock to me is gold television. I've been such a huge fan of that show since the moment it aired, and the year it aired was actually the year I was doing a show called The Class, and we were supposed to be the new show that year to sort of take the TV world by storm, and we didn't. And we actually won the People's Choice Award over 30 Rock, and I look back on that and I'm like, who were we fooling? What beans did those voters eat? Because 30 Rock is just purely a genius, in my opinion, as were many of the shows that were nominated against. But I think what it sort of gave us, none of us do this for the awards, but it feels so validating to be told in your first season that you're doing a good job, specifically by your peers. And I think it just sort of gave us, more than anything else, some breathing room, and we all kind of relaxed, because we are 10 extremely neurotic actors, and we are constantly thinking that the show is going to immediately end. And this goes all the way down to the Lily twins. They're the worst. But we're always thinking that the next day is going to be our last. And I think having the Emmy Award really sort of let us breathe and be like, okay, we might be around for a few years, and this could be a little job security. So that was nice.
Well, for those 10 neurotic actors you just mentioned, you win the Ensemble Award this year at the Screen Actors Guild Awards. For somebody that's been working in the industry a while, was that a good validation for you?
Oh my God, it was huge. That room is full of the most brilliant actors that I've either grown up watching, or have aspired to be, or have newly discovered that I just think are there was no one in that room that I was like, why are they here? Everyone in that room is amazing. And we were honored to even just be nominated. I know I sound so diplomatic right now, but we really were so honored just to be nominated the first year. And yes, we wanted to win. Okay, I'll say it. We wanted to win, and we didn't. But I think the cast of Glee is fantastic, and sings and dances and does a brilliant job of that. But we were very, very, very happy to win in our second year out. It was thrilling. And
it would have been nice to sort of compete together for an award rather than at the Emmys where you're against each other.
Oh, yeah. That was the thing. A win was obviously a win for all of us, and that's just that's just a beautiful thing. We really, I can't believe that there's not a Best Ensemble Emmy Award. I think, and actually an ensemble or an award for kids too. I think don't the daytime Emmys have younger actor awards? I think that our kids would fill those categories quite brilliantly. So, but it is what it is, and they will pit us against one another again and again and again, and we will persevere.
Yeah.
Well, if you get that nomination again here in about a month, you'll have to pick an episode like you did last year. Do you have any thoughts yet on what you might choose?
That's so hard. And we were talking, we did the Inside the Actors Studio recently, and we chose scenes that were our favorites to show. And we realized as we were watching the scenes, a lot of the scenes that we chose specifically for ourselves showcased our partners more, and maybe, I don't know what that is, if it's just because we enjoy working together so much, or if it's because we just enjoyed the scenes. But I was sort of not looking at it as from a place of like, oh, I do really good work here. It's a really bizarre place to go back and try and choose a scene that you feel you did really strong work in.
Well, I think Matt has a suggestion or two, but
please,
I don't think I've laughed.
Please.
Well, I don't think I personally laughed at your character more, maybe ever on the series than the Halloween episode this year, where you're in the Spider-Man outfit.
I did enjoy that very much, and that's actually probably high on the list. I think I Google myself way too much, and I read a criticism last year that the scene the episode I picked with me fighting the pigeon was just more physical comedy and not enough substance. And now I'm like, well, I don't know anymore, except that Spider-Man episode seemed all physical comedy to me too. So I don't know. I guess anytime you're put in Lycra for a week, you should probably pick that episode, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think in this category, it's good to have the physical comedy. It's good to have a performance that is showy. Eric won last year for an episode where he dressed up as a clown. Like, I think that, especially in the comedy categories, the Emmy voters like that. And I agree with Chris. I think the Halloween one's your best bet. I think I just watched your season premiere, and I thought that was very strong too, with you building the castle and bumbling builder. Right. It was quite funny.
That was actually a really well written episode as well. I think we all run into this problem. Listen, I talk about people been on air for like 10 years. We always run into this problem every year. I'm in year 2. But, it is difficult because I think we have extremely, extremely strong writers, and they've presented us with a plethora of really fantastic episodes. Some maybe probably stronger than others, but it does become very difficult to single out your favorite. It's like Sophie's Choice right now when people ask me that question.
Yeah. Like Two Monkeys and a Panda is also a good one for you, because that's quite a nice sweet scene at the end. But the reason I would go with maybe one of the other ones is because that you don't have as much of the physical comedy. It's a bit more of an emotional performance, and while emotion can be good, I think what stands out more to voters is the physical comedy sort of stuff.
Right. Did Eric say what he's submitting? Because maybe I'll just ride his coattails.
Well, you don't want to submit the same thing, because that panel will be watching multiple episodes.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. In the episode that Eric thinks he might choose, am I good in it?
He didn't, when we talked with him, he was kind of in the same boat you were. We wound up just maybe suggesting 3 or 4, and I don't know that we ever heard back from him on what he might choose.
Okay. Yeah. Well, interesting.
You do have to think about that, though. When you've got co-stars up against each other, in a bad way, you do want to think of, if you want to win, I mean, you got to think about, is Ty, is Ed, is Eric showcased very well in the one I'm choosing? Is that going to hurt me?
Yeah. Listen, Chris, this is the problem with our show. We have really strong ensemble. They're always going to be good. There's not going to be an episode where Sophia was horrible in that episode, and I will submit that. It's tough. It's tough. I mean,
I know.
And again, it's hard to sort of be objective of your work that way. But I totally get that this is what them's the rules.
Yeah. Well, you can do what the West Wing guys did. We never heard this officially, but, every year a different one would win. And when Matt and Rob and I and Tom would watch episodes, we'd go, it almost feels like, Bradley Whitford and the other guys are trying to help this person out, and they wanted to swap off each year. So maybe you get hold of Eric and Ty and Ed, and you draw straws, and you see who should win this year.
I like that.
Get Eric to submit 2 pandas so you get the emotional stuff, and then you can submit the Halloween where you can have the physical comedy. Then they'll see a bit of everything.
There you go. It's done. I also think in season 3 I'm probably just going to specifically act the whole season as if I'm campaigning for an Emmy award. I'm just only going to act like a crazy person, and I'm also going to do some good acting too within that, and hopefully.
Get with the writers and see if maybe they could put your character on like a road trip. Just you featured for 30 minutes one week.
I think that sort of a 127 hours type episode.
Right,
It's just me with a rock.
Yeah.
I think that would pretty much guarantee it.
Yeah. Oh. Well, thanks heaps for your time, Jesse. It was great to chat Emmys and chat Modern Family. We really hope you can get back in this year. You guys can have a second good year at the Emmys, and yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, Matt.
No worries.
Thanks, Chris.